Friends, welcome back to the new session of our Standard 6 Science, lesson number 8, Body Movements. Last video, I had already explained about the uh, different types of skeletons, endoskeleton and exoskeleton, and also liquid skeleton. So you had already heard about the earthworm. I had explained how the earthworm is moving. What are the different types of movements among the animals, that is different type of gaits. So once more I will say in short the gait of an earthworm. An earthworm does not have bones and does not have legs. Its body is made up of muscles. The body of an earthworm is made up of many ring loops joined end to end. If you take an earthworm minutely, you observe, you can see small rings are on the whole body. It moves forward by the contraction and expansion of muscles. During the movement, the earthworm first extends the front part of the body, keeping the rear portion, that is back portion, fixed to the ground. Then it fixes the front end and releases the rear end. So first it will press back end or rear end of the body on the ground, and front side it will move. Then it fixes the front end and releases the rear end alternately. It then shortens the body and pulls the rear end forward. So slowly and slowly you can observe that how it will be moving. One time front side moving, then back side moving. So because of the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. This moves this makes it move forward by a small distance. Repeating such muscle expansions and contractions, the earthworm can move through soil. The body secretes a slimy substance to help with the movement. If you will touch the earthworm, always it is wet because its skin itself is a respiratory organ. The oxygen is entering through that, so the whole body is slimy, and it is wet also. So this is about last class already I explained. Just for your information, I explained again. So because of the uh, contraction and relaxation of the whole body muscles, the earthworm can move on the ground or in the soil. Now today you are going to study about the snail. It is also having an exoskeleton. You can see on the screen the snail picture is given. Look at that, one activity is there. So I will just explain that activity to observe the gait of a snail, how the snail moves. First thing, collect a snail from a garden. During the rainy season, you can see some of the snails you can see on the wet places, marshy places, on the rocks, stones, etc. In garden, sometimes on the tree barks of the tree, etc. Place the snail on a glass plate and observe its movement. So how it moves, you can see, keep it on a glass slide. When it starts moving, carefully lift the glass plate along with the snail and observe its movements from beneath, because it is glass transparent. So from bottom part you observe. Keep it straight above your head level and try to observe it from down. What you can see, the thick structure seen on the snail is its foot. A strong and thick part is coming out from the hole of the shell. Shell is on the back side of this animal, and from that hole a thick and strong structure is coming, which is the foot. It moves with its help. So the snail can move because of the muscles present on the foot portion, and it is when enemies are coming, it withdraws, or it goes inside the shell. Only the head portion you can see it. And when it is moving, the thick portion comes out and head portion also outside, and with that it can move. So this way the snail moves on this wet places, or anywhere it on the bark of the tree or any place. So this is about the movement of a snail. So you can observe it whenever, if you will get a chance to come across with a snail during this rainy season itself. So try to observe it. And now it's about its body part. A snail has a rounded structure on its back. You can see on the screen very clearly a coiled round portion is there, that is called the shell. It is the outer skeleton of the snail, but is not made of bones. Even though we will call it a skeleton, but this particular shell is not made up of bones. It helps to protect the snail, only for a protection, just like crabs. You can see crab also having this type of protection. The shell is a single unit and does not help in moving from place to place. So which part is helping in moving? That foot, thick structure. It has to be dragged along. So whenever the snail is moving on the back side, this calcareous shell is also moving along with the animal. When a snail crawls, a thick structure and the head of the snail may come out of an opening in the shell. So when the animal want to move, snail want to move, it's a thick structure called the foot is coming out along with the head, and the foot will be pressing on the floor with the powerful muscles. So because of that wavy movement, the animal slowly moves in one direction. The thick structure is its foot, which is made up of strong muscles. This foot helps to move. So this is the uh, way of locomotion in the case of this particular small animal called snail. So it is generally seen in the wet places, fields, farms, garden, etc. So a snail has a rounded structure on its back called the shell. It has an outer skeleton, but it is not made of bones. It helps to protect the snail, and the shell is a single unit and does not help in moving from place to place. It has to be dragged along. When a snail crawls, a thick structure and the head of the snail may come out of the opening of the shell, and this thick structure is its foot, which is made up of strong muscles, and this foot helps to move. So this is the way the snail moves. So today you had studied about the about the earthworm as well as the snail. So another type of locomotion among the animal, that is uh, you will study now, cockroach. Cockroach is an insect. So cockroach can walk as well as it can climb and also fly. So cockroaches walk and climb as well as fly in air for a short distance. They have three pairs of legs. If you will observe the cockroach, you can see three pairs of legs are there. These help in walking. When the cockroach is on the floor or under the table, it will be walking along with these three pairs of legs. The body is covered with a hard outer skeleton. So it is also an exoskeleton. This outer skeleton is made up of different units joined together and that permits movement. So this outer skeleton is made up of different units joined together and it permits the movement of the organism. There are two pairs of wings attached to its breast. In the chest part, these wings are joined. The cockroaches have distinct muscles. Those near the legs move the legs for walking, and the breast muscles move the wings when the cockroach flies. So, when it is on the ground or the floor, it walks with the help of the leg muscles. And when it is flying, it uses the breast muscles, move the wings, and the cockroach can fly in a short for a short distance. Like birds, it cannot fly. So this is about the gait of a cockroach. Cockroach is also an invertebrate. It is also having an outer skeleton which is made up of units, different units joined together and helps in the movement, helps the cockroach to move. It can walk, it can climb as well as fly for a short distance. It has three pairs of legs. These help in walking and two pairs of wings attached to the breast. The cockroach can have the distinct muscles. Those near the legs move the leg while walking, and the breast muscles move the wings when the cockroach flies. So this is about the cockroach. So you had studied three different organisms, how they are moving in different ways. They are adapted to live in different uh, habitats. Earthworm normally seen in the wet soil, and snail also you can see on the ground or in the garden, wet places, marshy places, and cockroach in nooks and corner of the house or the building, dark places you can see holes, etc. So according to the habitat, their way, the mode of movement is also different. Now next one is avians, that is birds. Birds fly in the air and walk on the ground. So birds also can fly as well as walk. With the two legs they are walking. You can see the sparrow, sparrow, parrot, duck, swan. All these are walking on the ground. Some birds like ducks and swan also swims in water. They are also called as aquatic birds because they can live in water as well as on the land. So when they are in water, they have webbed legs, so it can swim just like an oar. It can move in the water. The birds can fly because their bodies are well suited for flying. So the body is completely adapted to fly in the air. So they can fly easily in the air. Their bones are hollow and light. Their bones are very light in weight and inside hollow. Air can be filled in that. The bones of the hind limbs are typical for walking and perching. So when they are on the floor or sitting on the tree branches, etc., with the help of the hind limbs, they can hold the tree branches or they can keep the hind legs on the floor and they can walk. The bony parts of the forelimbs are modified as wings. So their front legs, that is forelimbs, are modified into wings. The shoulder bones are strong. So the forelimbs consist of shoulder bones like us. So these bones are very strong The breastbones are modified to hold the muscles of flight which are used to move the wings up and down. When the birds are flying, you might have seen that the wings will be moving up and down, so the speed of the flight increases. So the shoulder bones are strong, the breast bones are modified to hold the muscles of flight which are used to move the wings up and down. So the birds are completely adapted to fly in the air because of this type of adaptation in the body structure. Now you can try to understand how the birds are well suited for flying. One by one points again I will repeat, just to listen. Birds are lighter in weight as their bones are hollow and light. That is the first point. The birds are adapted to live in the air also. They can fly because of their lighter in weight as their bones are hollow and light. Second point, the bones of the hind limbs are typical for walking and perching. The bony parts of the forelimbs are modified as wings for flying. Their shoulder bones are strong. These breast bones are modified to hold muscles of flight which are used to move the wings up and down. The bodies of birds are streamlined, which helps them glide in air, so the friction can be reduced. Hence, it is said that the bodies of birds are suited for flying. So, because of these all body adaptations suitable for flying, the birds can fly in the air. Swan as well as the duck, they are they can move in the water also. At the same time, they can walk on the land also. When they are on the water, their body structure allows to swim in the water. That means the all the hind limbs, toes are webbed. So it helps to move in water. Just the body is when the birds are moving, it helps to move in the water. So webbed toes are there for swan as well as the duck. So students, I hope you had already followed today what uh, four organisms, different modes of gaits I had explained. Earthworm, then snail, then cockroach, and the birds. The remaining part of the chapter I will explain in the next video. So today, which part I had explained, just read the lesson, first listen the video and then read the chapter, so you will get more clear idea about that. And coming days we will try to complete the lesson. Before that, whatever notes coming in the PDF, try to write in your notebook. The notes are giving after one lesson is completed, the notes are coming on the global board. Write the index and then try to complete the notes also and learn. So today I am going to wind up the chapter. Remaining we will continue in the next video. Till then, goodbye.